Hello everyone, myself Snehata Shiron. I'll be talking about the subject computer architecture. So in today's session, let's start with the introduction to logic gates as well as combinational circuits. So in this introduction part, if I give you a brief outline along with logic gates, as I mentioned, we'll be talking about combinational circuits also. So in combinational circuits, I'll be talking about multiplexer, demultiplexer, encoder as well as decoder. So let's first a basic. I know we all are very familiar with this term, but still I thought let's just go for a quick recap. So what is a digital computer? So as we all are familiar with, a digital computer is nothing but which stores data in terms of digit and proceeds in discrete steps from one state to the next. Now the term which I've used here is digits. So we call them as binary digits. So binary digits are basically, they represent the states of a digital computer, and this digit is also known as a bit. So you have your zeros and ones which are represented as your binary digit. So talking about the components of a computer, the components of a computer broadly, if I say, they are divided into three major parts. One is your CPU, the central processing unit, which is nothing but the heart of your computer system. Then you have your memory. Generally, we call it as RAM, the random access memory. Again, memory also have various hierarchical levels. You have primary memory, secondary memory, then you have your cache memory, then RAM, and all those things. So memory is your second major component, and third component is your I/O devices, which are like controlled by an I/O processor. So you have your input devices along with your output devices. So a computer is nothing but the major components of a computer. We put them into three categories: memory, CPU, and your IO devices. And they all work together in sync so that you get a processed data. We give certain inputs to it and we get a processed data as an output. So coming to your logic gates, now, what are logic gates? If somebody asks us what are logic gates, so logic gates, you can say a building block, the most elementary block or the basic building block which are required to design a digital circuit. We understand circuit. A circuit is nothing but there are going to be certain components which are connected through cables, through wires. So those components, the basic building elements are known as your logic gates, and they're also doing certain logic operations. So if you can see the table in the slide, these are my AND, OR, NOT. All these are my logic gates. So basic gates, the basic gates, we call them as AND gate. There are three basic gates: AND gate, OR gate, as well as NOT gate. So if you can see the slide, the AND gate, the symbol, the logic symbol of AND gate is represented in this way. Generally, we take AND gate as a two input gate, and which produces one particular output. So the logic function responsible for AND gate is this. You can write x is equal to AB, or you can also put it in this way, x dot AB. So the logic function which is being done by an AND gate is AB. Now coming to truth table. So you should be first familiar with what is a truth table. A truth table, as you can see, we have three columns here: A, B, and X, right? So A and B are nothing but your inputs, and X represents your output. You can take any variable as per your requirement. So here, when we say A and B, these are my inputs. Now, if I'll explain it here. So now starting with your inputs, and also a truth table is basically nothing but a table which is nothing representing a combination of inputs. So you can see on the left hand side you have your inputs. There are two inputs, A and B, all the four possible combinations. Along with one side you're going to have your outputs. So a truth table is nothing but a combination of inputs and outputs. So there are going to be certain set of inputs, and every input is responsible for producing one particular output. Now, how do we get this particular, and why there are only four inputs here? So if I'll just explain it here, in computers, generally what happens is we follow this term here. Let's suppose n is nothing but it represents your number of inputs. So the total combinations which are possible, is nothing but 2 raised to power n. Okay, so if n is nothing but your number of inputs, so the total combination is always going to be 2 raised to power n. Now what this combination means here, combination means, let's take this example only. There are 2 inputs. I have 2 inputs which are represented as A and B. So we have 2 inputs A and B. Now these 2 inputs will give me 4 combination. Why? Because 2 raised to power 2 is nothing but equal to 4. So you can see in the table there are 2 inputs A and B and total combinations are 4. Okay, so we are always going to follow this notation here, that if there are n number of inputs, the total combination possible are 2 raised to power n. So now how we have formed this particular table, the truth table. So as I said, in the truth table, one side you're going to represent the inputs and the other side you're going to represent the outputs. So in our case, you have 2 inputs A and B and you have one output which is X, right? So now I'm going to put the values here in this particular table. So let's just, you have A and B one side as inputs and X output on the other side. So 2 inputs will give me 4 unique combinations. So your combinations are nothing but you have your first combination 0, 0. Then you have your next combination as 0, 1. Then the third combination as 1, 0. And the next is your 1 and 1. These are my 4 combinations which are possible. Now in these 4 combinations, we have to find out the output along every input combination. So using the function of AND gate, X is equal to A dot B. X is equal to A dot B means A0 dot 0 here. If I mention a 0 here, it's like 0 dot 0. If A is low, B is low, the output is always going to be low. The next one is you have A is low. Low means the value is 0 and high means the value is equal to 1. So if A is low and B is high, the output is still going to be 0. In simple words, in basic mathematics, we always say that anything multiplied to 0 is always 0, right? So you can say we are following a similar pattern here. Anything multiplied to 0 is always going to be 0. So in the third case, when A is equal to high and B is equal to low, then again X is going to be low, which is 0. And in the fourth case, A is 1 and B is 1, then in that case, X is going to be high. Or we can summarize AND gate is a logic gate in which output is high when both the inputs are high. I'll repeat, AND gate is a gate in which output is high when both the inputs are high. So like this, in this fashion, we're going to form all the tables here. Now you can refer to the OR gate. The next basic gate is your OR gate, the building block. Now the symbol, the logic symbol of OR gate is this. The function of an OR gate is X is equal to A plus B. So similarly, 2 inputs. So 2 inputs will give me 4 combinations here, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0 and 1, 1. One output which is X. Now in this, you can see when A is low and B is low, then output X is also low. The second combination, when A is low and B is high, then X is also high. Third combination, A is high and B is low, then also the output is high. And in the last case, A is high and B is high. Both the inputs are high, value high state. So X also is at high state. So OR gate can be summarized. If I have to summarize OR gate, I can always say that in an OR gate, the output is high if either of the input is 1 or high value. X is going to be in high state if either of the inputs is in high state. So that was your AND gate, then is your OR gate. Coming to your third gate, which is your NOT gate. Now this NOT gate is one input gate and this is the symbol you can see in the slide. It is represented by, there's a triangle here and there's a small bubble. This bubble sign is actually represents your negation sign. Negation means complement operation. So the function of a NOT gate is nothing but x is equal to a bar. You can see a dash here, the apostrophe sign. So you can write it as a bar, or you can also write it as a dash. So this represents your function. So when it comes down to the truth table says, since it has only one input A, so following the form n combination, n is number of inputs, so combination is 2 raised to power n. So with respect to NOT gate, n is equal to 1, therefore combination is 2 raised to power 1 is equal to 2. So here in the truth table, you have only two states, which is A can be 0 or A can be 1. Now output is there x. Now this x is going to be the complement of A. So if A was 0, output is going to be 1. And if A is 1, the output is going to be 0. So now moving to the next type of gate, which is also known as buffer. So if you can see a difference between NOT gate and the buffer, there is no negation sign. Okay, so buffer is basically responsible for temporary storage. It is not doing any data manipulation. As you can see, the function of buffer, x is equal to a, which means, come to the truth table, if input of or the value of a is equal to 0, so output is also equal to 0. And if a is equal to 1, then output is also equal to 1. So buffer is not doing any data manipulation. It is just used as a temporary storage. So these three were my basic gates. Now coming to universal gates. Now there are two universal gates. One is your NAND gate and another is your NOR gate. I'll tell you the reason why we call them as universal gates. So a NAND gate is represented in this fashion. You can see NAND gate is nothing but combination of two gates. One is and another is a NOT gate. So you make a AND gate first and then you put a negation sign. Remember, negation always represents a complement operation. So NAND gate, two gates, one is your AND gate and another is your NOT gate. So if I have to define the function of a NAND gate, so the function of NAND gate is AB. You can see the truth table, the function of AND gate. AND is x is equal to AB. So NAND gate is first is AB and then it is complementing. So like if I just have to make a diagram here representing a NAND gate, so it is nothing but you put a AND gate first and then this output passes through a NOT gate. So that's how a NAND gate is actually designed. So you get the inputs, you get a AB here in the diagram, and then here AB, the product which you are getting as output, is getting complemented. So you can put a whole bar or you can also represent it in this fashion. So this is NAND gate. Coming to the truth table of NAND gate. The truth table says two inputs, I'll have 4 combination and this is my output. So in output, what we are doing, if you observe the output of AND gate, it is 0, 0, 0 and 1. Now this output of AND gate passes through a NOT gate. A NOT gate is going to complement this. So this 0, 0, 0, 1 gets complemented here and you get a NAND gate. You get 1, 1, 1, 0. So you can summarize a NAND gate that if both the inputs are high, I'll repeat, if both the inputs are high, then the output is always going to be in low state or in 0 state. Similarly, you have your NOR gate. NOR gate is also combination of two gates. It is OR plus NOT gate. So you can see the symbol of OR gate. Then with the small bubble, this bubble represents your negation. So this is the logic symbol of NOR gate. The function of a NOR gate is A plus B whole bar, right? So you can see the table again, the OR gate table. This OR gate table gets complemented and is converted as a NOR gate. So you had 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1. So here you have 1 and followed by all zeros. So these two gates, NAND and NOR gates, we also call them as universal gates because just by using any of these two components, you can design any circuit, right? If I have to represent a function of a NOT gate using a NAND gate, then I have to connect only one NAND gate in such a fashion that it is going to give me an output which is similar to NOT gate. So if I have only NAND gates or only NOR gates, I can design any kind of circuit. That is why NAND and NOR gates are also known as universal gates. Now coming to the two exclusive gates, you have XOR and XNOR. So the symbol of XOR you can see here, there's a difference between this and obviously OR gate. The function of XOR, you write A XOR B. This symbol is used for XOR, or when you expand it, it actually becomes A bar B plus A B bar. Okay, so this is your XOR. The table of this, the XOR table says if whenever the outputs are in different state, whenever the inputs are in different state, like A is 0 and B is 1, or A is 1 and B is 0, then you're going to get a high output, right? Or you can put it in another way, that whenever the inputs are same, whenever the inputs are same, you can see the first case, A is 0, B is 0, last case, A is 1, B is 1. So whenever the inputs are same, the output is always going to be low. An extension of this, you have your XNOR, exclusive NOR gate. So this is the symbol here, you put a negation. Now this becomes my complete expression. The expression says X is equal to A bar B bar plus AB. Coming to the truth table, you can see you just have to perform a complement of this particular table. So you had 0, 1, 1, 0, complement it, and you're going to get 1, 0, 0, 1. So these are your basic logic gates, or all the logic gate family that I have discussed here. Basic gates, you have AND or NOT. Then you have your universal gates, NAND gate and NOR gate, and then you have your exclusive gates, XOR and XNOR. So now I'll move to the next topic. So next I'm going to start with your combinational circuits. Basic overview. See, please, you need to understand that before we start with the actual topics listed in computer architecture, we need to have a basic understanding of these four components, because these four components will be using time and again in designing our larger circuits. So first combination circuits, it's your multiplexer. Now this multiplexer, it is also known as many-to-one circuit because it has many input lines and has only one output line. You can see in the diagram below, this is an example of 4 cross 1 mux. 4 means there are 4 number of inputs and 1 output. So number of inputs, we can always put them in this form 2 raised to power n, and the number of output is always going to be 1. So multiplexer is also known as mux, and it can be represented in this fashion, 2 raised to power n cross 1 with n number of selection lines. N means, see, if I have 4 cross 1 multiplexer, so the value of n is going to be 2. How? You put 4 equal to 2 raised to power n form, so n value is always going to be 2. So I have two selection lines. You can see the bottom below lines. These two parallel lines are my selection lines. Now what is the function of selection lines? These selection lines are going to help me in selecting one of the possible inputs which are present and put it on the output line. So the selection line is doing the role of a selection. So now opposite of this, you have your demultiplexer. Again, it is a type of a combinational circuit, but this time it has only one input line and various output lines. So this circuit is also known as one-to-many circuit. So number of input is always going to be 1, and the number of output can be 2 raised to power n form. This is also known as demux. Now this 2 raised to power n, the small n here represents the number of selection lines. So you can see in the diagram, the left hand side you have your 1 input, the right hand side you have your 4 outputs, and the 2 bottom lines are your 2 selection lines. So this is your 1 cross 4 demux. Moving to next, encoder and decoder. Now, encoder is again a combinational circuit which has 2 raised to power n number of input lines and produces n outputs. Opposite of this is going to be your decoder, sorry. Opposite of encoder is going to be decoder. Now, decoder will have n inputs and 2 raised to power n output lines. See, these 4 devices are basically, you must have already studied in your digital electronics, which is the base for studying computer architecture. So their diagrams, these circuits, why we call them combinational? Because these 4 devices are designed using your logic gates. Okay, you give them an input, and on the basis of the input, it is going to give me an output. There is no concept of memory here. Whenever there's a concept of memory, it means we're going to talk about flip-flops, which will be covered later on. So these 4 are your combinational devices: encoder, decoder, multiplexer, and demultiplexer. So I stop my session here. Thank you so much. I hope it was useful. Thank you.